Hello, everyone. I can't be with you right now, but I did want to take time to explain a little bit more about what a backwards plan is because I think it can be really useful for us in continuing our work on the change team. To kind of explain, a backwards plan is a really amazing way of organizing thoughts when you have a large group of people working together. It's a great way to make sure that folks are accountable. It's a great way to make sure that we're doing everything that we need to be doing and we can be on track. When you are backwards planning, I'm also attaching a template, but when you're backwards planning, you can use any kind of time frame that you're looking for, right? So it can be planning for the year, it can be planning for months, it can be broken down week by week. It all depends on whatever is most helpful. I'm going to do just an example of what it can look like, and then hopefully with this example and with the template, you'll be able to put it together into the backwards plan for the change team. We'll start. The backwards plan generally has this sort of a layout. And what you do is you separate, here you have the actual area that you're working in. And so what you can do with this, you can do multiple areas, right? So you can have just a general area and then put your focuses here. Or if you want to get more detailed, which I think maybe we do, you can have the area focus specifically here, and then within that area of focus, each of the different points that you need to hit. And this up here is going to represent the time frame that we're wanting to organize things in. So just for the example, I did it month by month. You can again break it down year by year, week by week, whatever makes sense. So this is month by month, and we just went into month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and month 7 here. Okay? So then right here we have the goals, and when you're doing your goals for a backwards plan, you want them to be as specific as possible so everybody knows what we're going for. An example here would be, I took the area of internal education and skill building from our worksheets that we did earlier, and the particular area of staff development, right? And so when we're thinking through staff development, particularly when we did our potential objectives and our strategies, we had some pretty loose or flexible things. We didn't have really super solid numbers based things that we wanted to do. So if we look at the area of staff development, we want to first, with backwards planning, we're going to always start with our goals. So what is it that we want to accomplish in the next 7 months for this? And when we're thinking about our goals, it's helpful to think of like, how will we know that we've been successful, right? How do we know that we're doing what we need to do in order to make sure that this goal happens? So just a goal that wouldn't necessarily be a super great goal in theory would be solid professional development, but we could expand on that. And I'm not there to talk it through with you all, but that could look like make sure that there are 3 to 5 staff development trainings. And this, when we talked about it, was particularly making sure that we had resources to ensure that staff of color got professional development. So what that looks like, we still have to figure out, but we could plan it out, right? So if we knew that we wanted to have within the next 7 months, we want to have 10 solid staff professional development trainings, actions, toolkit, work pack, whatever that looks like, we're going to plan accordingly. And backwards planning is flexible, right? So it's called backwards planning. So generally we would start with the very last thing. So what would need to be done in month 7? This is our goal month to make sure that these things happen. Is it that staff are actually have access to these development tools? What does that look like? Or we could start over here, right? So in month 1, the first thing that we need to get done is again, this is an example, but assess the tools that we currently have for staff of color in professional development. So it can be an assessment is one of the things we need to get done. So I can write, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to actually see, but we can write assessment. It's important that we know what we have, right? And so with that, we have the assessment. We would need to figure out who's going to conduct this assessment, like who's going to really dig in and see what tools GSAFE has to professionally develop staff of color. And so in backwards planning, it's handy because you can assign something right there, right? And you can do this with color codes, or you can put the name up. So say we're in our meeting and we're talking, and I'm like, okay, I know that I have the time and the capacity to really look at GSAFE's history and look at the tools that we might already have specific for staff of color. So we would just put my name here, right? Key, not that you can necessarily see it. So we know that month one, Key is going to conduct an assessment of what tools we currently have. And I think that you maybe probably get the point, but that's generally how we would go about breaking everything down. So again, I'm going to attach a template of what a backwards plan can look like. So I'll actually be attaching my template for my personal backwards plan that I use in work, and that's broken down month by month by month. With weeks also in there. So you'll see it. I'll make sure that folks have it available. Yeah, I'll do that. So yes, as specific as you can get, beautiful. If we want to do another example in month one, for assessment, it seems like if we don't necessarily have a lot of tools, or we're identifying that we need to get more tools, we want to define what tools means, right? Does that mean like an actual paper development toolkit? Does that mean trainings that exist? What does that look like? So that would be research, right? Like we would have to figure out what already exists. So we would want to put on there research what tools would be available and what tools GSAFE could utilize or access. Another piece of it would be budget, right? So just again, me thinking you all could come up with something completely different and wonderful. But budget, do we have money to do assessment, to not to do the assessment, but do we have money to look at what tools we have available? Would we have money to send people to trainings? What does that mean look like? And planning it out month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so that everything is ready to go by month 7. We've accomplished our goal. We know exactly what it is that we're going for, and that is a backwards plan in a very fast nutshell. So if folks have questions, I will be available via phone and email. So I hope that that's helpful, and I hope that you all have a really, really fantastic meeting, and have a great day.